I'm Alison Fernandes, and I help to coordinate a learning and sharing group for Mothers Union working in prisons throughout the UK and Ireland. So can you introduce yourselves, please, and say how you've been involved in Mothers Union?
My name is Pauline McCalla. I've been a Mothers Union member for nearly 20 years and involved in various committees.
My name is Annette Cole. I've been a member of Mothers Union since 2004 and I'm now a branch leader from 2015.
Great. And how have you both been involved with prisoners and their families?
Through the Mothers Union, I was asked, as we all were in the London area, to consider volunteering in prisons. And so I approached Wormwood Scrubs, which is the nearest prison to me in West London, and after going through their vetting process, became a volunteer in the visitor centre there. We help all the visitors as they're going through, and we don't actually have contact with the prisoners themselves, but by making the whole process easier for the visitors, in some respects I think we're helping the prisoners.
That's great, thank you. And Annette, how did you get involved in prison and work with prisoners and their families?
Yeah, I got involved through Mothers Union as well, through our diocesan president asked me to check out Wormwood Scrubs, which is the nearest prison to us in our vicinity. And while checking there, went through the process of vetting because you can't just go in, you have to be checked. So after getting through all the processes, I started volunteering in the visitor centre in 2019.
Great. So can you just tell me, what is the visitor centre and what do you do in that?
The visitor centre is a place set up to receive the visitors when they come in to do a visit with their loved one inside. They have to come through the visitor centre because that's where they'll be processed. That's where they have to leave all their belongings. We have lockers in there, so they leave all their belongings there and get processed. That means they check their IDs and have they actually got a visit. So they must have a visit previously booked before they can come. And then they wait there until it's time to go over to the prison.
And while they're waiting, we can also provide them with information and support to answer any questions or queries that they might have about the process or anything to do with the visitors. How can they provide them with books or parcels, that sort of thing. There's a children's play area, and we do sometimes have a cafe, but it hasn't reopened routinely since COVID.
That's great. So what difference do you think the Mothers Union is making for prisoners and their families who are visiting?
The main focus is on children, mainly to keep them comfortable and happy. So we have play workers in the visitor centre and also activities. From last year, I have a daughter who's a teacher at school. She teaches cookery, and she made cookies. I brought the cookies in, and the children were able to decorate them for Easter and Christmas, Christmas cookies and Easter cookies. So the children have activities that they can engage in, so they won't be bored while they're waiting, because sometimes if they come early before visiting starts, they have a good wait to wait in the visitor centre, so they can't, children can't sit still.
So you're providing a really positive experience for them.
And overall, I think by being friendly and open and helpful, we're making the visit process less stressful, so that family members are much more likely to keep visiting the prisoner. And we know how important that is for them to maintain their family relationships. It has been especially stressful for them recently with COVID. The prisoners were kept in their cells for up to 23 hours a day, and their visits were restricted less than one a month. And so now that things are returning to normal, it's more important than ever that we try and make up for that shortfall.
Yeah, that's great. And what hopes and aspirations do you have for the future as you continue to volunteer in the prisons?
Well, I hope that I can still be of help to anyone of the visitors who comes in and want help. I mean, I love to be there, so just making their experience special to them is my aim. To make sure that they have all the information they need, and if I don't know it, then I know where to go and ask somebody else for the information that they need, so that they won't go away not satisfied.
Tell us a bit about your Zoom support group that you run for visitors in Wormwood Scrubs.
So I was recently asked to set up a peer and lead a peer support group for the visitors to the prison. And during that peer support group, the aim is that visitors would support each other, answer each other's questions, and for us as the facilitators to answer their questions if they don't have the answers between them. But more importantly, to help them, particularly with problems such as how do I tell my children what's going on, or sometimes how do I inform the school and support the children through this whole process. So those are some of the things that we've been helping people with.
So you've been running these groups on Zoom and also in person?
Yes, we've recently started one a week in person in the visitor centre and one on Zoom a week.
So the theme for Prisons Week this year is thankfulness. And so what are you two thankful for? Maybe Pauline first, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my good health and strength, and for my God-given gifts that I'm employing, I hope, for the benefit of the people at the Visitors Centre. And I hope that will continue.
Great, yeah. And what about you, Annette?
I'm also thankful for my health is not great, but it's good enough for me to do what I'm doing. And I'm thankful that I know God's word that says that we are to visit prisoners. So when somebody is sick, somebody is in prison, we have to help. So I'm glad that I'm able to do that and help. And I pray that I can continue for a long time to come.
Great, thank you. And is there anything else you would like to tell us?
Nothing specific to prisons service, but one of my hopes is that the work of the Mothers Union becomes more widely known, because people that I speak to in the general public, and I say, oh, I'm part of the Mothers Union, and they say, what is the Mothers Union? I said, well, how long have you got? Because there's so much that we do, and I'm trying to do my bit to publicise it all, but I think much more needs to be done to make us much more visible.
And I'm just thinking that one way that we have become a bit visible in Wormwood Scrubs Prison is, Annette, you won an award earlier this year. Do you want to tell us quickly about that?
I won a High Sheriff Award recognising my,
Volunteering?
my volunteering and my contributions, especially they said during the pandemic, because the pandemic was a tough time for so many of the visitors. It was really hard. They couldn't come and visit as they would like. Everything was upside down. So, as usual, I have to go in there and calm people who are stressed and help them. So I was just doing my job really, and I was recognised for it, which I'm very thankful for.
Well, congratulations. And I think that was a really good example, and listening to you two is a really good example of how, as Mothers Union, we provide hospitality, we care for people, we show them love and we help them with their relationships with those in prison. So Pauline and Annette, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.